Mixtape Monday.
Exit to each other. Party on, dudes!
Next party on!
Party on, Wayne!
Party on, John.
All right. Hello and welcome everybody to another episode of Mixtape Mondays. As always, we have an awesome panel going on tonight. With me, as always, though, is my grumpy co-host, Roman of the Empire.
Thank you.
Back with
Thank
us,
you.
kind of one of our regular guests that we always love having on, Stephen Ransom.
Cheers.
Joining us, I think, for the second time now, the untamable Mando.
Yes.
And then Steve here for the first time, at least on my channel. So good to have all you guys here. How's everybody doing? We'll start with Roman. How's the garage treating you right now?
It's 10,000 degrees. The fan is pointed in my nether regions. It's not helping as much as I would have liked. So I will be grumpier as the stream goes on.
That's why we're probably going to try to keep it maybe a little shorter this week. We'll see how that goes. And again, Stephen, always good to have you. How you doing, buddy?
Not too bad, not too bad. It's a little cooler over here than it has been, but
Oh yes, because you're also here in California with us.
just a couple of leg straddles up the coast. So yeah, not as hot, I'm sure.
And then we got Mando joining us again. Always good to have you. What have you been up to? How are you doing?
I've just kind of been running around with my hair on fire, trying to keep up with all of the things. I'm trying to think. Had a little bit of car trouble, just at IRL. It's great. It's great whenever you got both your tail lights out, so you get pulled over.
Yeah.
But other than that, I've been doing good. Just streaming whenever I stream and just kind of hanging out with lots of cool people, including you all today. I'm gonna probably be streaming or on someone's stream every single day this week. It's gonna be amazing.
Wow. That's gonna be quite the busy week. And then joining us for the first time here, we have Steve, Prophet of Dragons. How you doing, buddy? Thanks for being here.
Yeah, I'm glad I could make it. Busy night for me, but glad I'm squeezing it in. I hate to be the one to make you guys more angry, but I'm cool as a cucumber sitting here in my 68-degree room, closed door. I'm feeling nice and cool. So
I've got my air conditioning going too. My air conditioner's going, but I just know that if I set foot outside right now, I'm going to be real unhappy.
Yeah, it's streaming time. We got to get it nice and cool in here. Got to get it nice and mellow. So I'm doing good. Thanks.
Before we get into the topic here, just real quick, we got Matt in the chat here. What's up, buddy? Good to see you. Zax, what is up, Zax?
Hey,
Thanks for
Zax.
tuning in. And then, of course, everybody's favorite Hobbit, Rosie, checking in. All right. So, I believe that our topic for the night was, I really tried to come up with a clever name. I'm really bad at being quippy and witty and clever, but I guess essentially it's the movies that you love that most other people tend to hate, or movies that you're willing to defend.
I gave you a goddamn title for this thing. Defending your life. That's the title of it. It's like working with a child. I try.
Apparently, I am your child, according to photographer John. So
it's sort of a hard topic because, if you like it, shouldn't everybody like it, right? I mean, it's like,
right.
How do you judge if somebody hates it?
I'm better at the converse of this because there are a lot of movies that people love that I absolutely can't stand.
Mm-hmm.
So
it's funny is actually in the kind of the days and weeks leading up to this, when we've been kind of talking about it and throwing out different ideas, a lot of people have actually been kind of blowing some of my options out of the water, because I've had a lot of conversations with people over the years of, oh yeah, I really like this movie, and people go, oh, that movie was stupid because I brought it up in the chat a couple times, and everyone's like, "Oh, I love that movie." I'm like, "Well, fuck, there goes my option," but I'm still gonna roll with it. But actually, I do have one funny thing that I want to pull up that Roman isn't aware of yet either. I forgot to do it last week, but I have to get a real-time reaction from Roman, and we're gonna get a copyright claim on this one, but it's gonna be totally worth it.
God.
Oh my God. Yes. You need to share audio.
Is it not playing?
It's not doing the audio. You need to share
Oh, no.
audio.
Hold on.
Wait, that
Hold
link
on.
was.
I thought I had
Oh,
the audio going.
it's already better than the show is going to be.
I'm ready. Yes, it's got.
Share
It's
screen.
bone chilling. I'm
This
ready for
one.
it. All those
Share
winks.
system
Did we get a few more
audio.
winks?
There we go.
Like, is it like everybody has to wink in this thing? Is that what it is?
I mean,
Okay,
I
what
guess
about
so.
now?
Yep.
There it is.
Got it? All right. I could have sworn I checked the box the first time.
What?
Oh my God.
It's amazing.
Carter.
Oh my
Yo.
God! What? What the?
Oh. Oh God.
Yes.
Oh my dear God! What? Oh my
Man, this is way
God!
better than the show is going to be.
Yeah.
On a
it's
special
amazing.
episode of Glee.
I was saying The Young and the Restless. I was like, somebody copied The Young and the Restless and made this. It's amazing.
Oh wow, that was good. That was good. I'm
That was like an
pleasantly surprised.
anime rom-com, like opening credit sequence, man. I mean,
But it's like
the
how
characters
they did,
rotating into the light, hysterical.
Oh man.
I just
How
like how
come we
they
haven't
did
done one of
kind
those
of
from the
like what they
beginning of
did
our
with the
show?
opening credits for Deadpool, where it was like
Mhm.
name of the character because your show sucks. Like they played the total Deadpool thing.
Yep.
Yes, like that.
That's gonna be a clip for sure.
Oh, yes. Cause Roman, I showed this on my Saturday stream, and I was like, you guys have to show this to other people. It's amazing.
Well, and the best part was it was like one of the rare Saturdays that you weren't in the chat, Roman. So I was like, oh, I'm totally gonna surprise him with this one.
Sorry. Wait, was it? That
Totally
was
worth
whenever
the
I was
copyright
asked
claim.
and I was doing something. And
I
then
did get a
remembered that, and
copyright
I-
claim for that. If you guys are
Oh.
curious, I did get
Oh, dear.
copyright claimed. So I had to delete all of that audio there. But it was worth it.
I mean, for my like whopping 76 subscribers, I'm not in danger of being demonetized anytime soon, or
I-
monetized for that.
I still
matter.
don't know what I still don't know what I saw. My brain is not quite.
So
processed it yet.
the new one of the new Rings of Power trailers was that where they showed the character or description and they faded out like The Young and the Restless. And so Jay Longbone, God bless his soul, did
No.
this edit, and I think it's better. Honestly.
It has to be
Cringe.
better because what the hell was that? Like I still can't like. What?
Well,
Someone
actually,
in
when I was
marketing
searching for
thought that was a good
so-
idea, and then someone else.
So while I was searching
Not
for that
awful.
on YouTube, there were multiple versions with like opening music from like The Young and the Restless,
really
and then
good. I
there
like
was
that one a
like
lot.
like there's people have put different old theme songs over it, like, but that was the one that Mando shared before, and I was like, I got to use this one. I got to see Roman's
Yeah,
reaction
I
live.
got that directly from Gary from Nerdrotic because I'm a member of his, and he showed it to his members, and I'm like, Gary, you got to send that to me. It's amazing. So that
Oh,
like
man.
Gary from Nerdrotic is who I got that from, and I was like, I have to share the love. I gotta share it.
I really think
There's
my
so
brain
many
just
so
stopped
many
working.
music options on that.
Yeah.
I was just thinking you could do OG Steve. You could do OG 78 like Superman theme music.
Yeah.
I think I'm gonna have to go to the doctor. I think my brain is literally melting.
So okay,
out
so I
of my
think
ears. Like
I've
what
got
in
something
the
I can use
hell
here to
was
kinda-
that?
I've got something here where we can
Rings
kind of
of our lives.
cleanse our palates from that one, and then we'll roll with the topic. So let's kind of get back to something good here.
What's that? This, my friend, is a pint. It comes in pints. I'm getting one. You've had all half already.
All right, now we're back.
There we go. We're a little better now.
So, as I was saying, our topic for the night is basically the hill you're willing to die on, movies you're willing to defend with your life. And I know with Steve, since you got kind of a busy night going on, I think we might actually kind of put you in the hot seat and maybe start with you. So,
Okay. Well, it's like
if
you just want me to go for
yeah,
it?
go ahead. Just a movie that you love that when you bring it up or you talk to people, most people say, "Oh, I hate that movie," or they just don't like it. Or
well. So when you guys brought up the topic, or when Roman sent me the request to join you guys, my mind went right somewhere, but I feel like it's low hanging fruit. So I wasn't sure, but I guess I side myself as a prequel defender. I
ooh.
actually enjoyed the Star Wars prequels quite a bit. And it looks like we're gonna have a fight, Roman. So let's do it. I'm ready. I'm ready. So it's one of those. I guess we'll go there because obviously it looks like there's stuff to say. So I mean, there always seems to be a good discussion when it comes to the Star Wars prequels, right? And Star Wars is in such a bad place right now. I think it made the prequels look even better.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
But I don't think they're perfect by any means, but I enjoy them whenever I watch them. And I know that there are people that will die on the other side of the hill that say it's terrible, and I don't know what the hell you can find redeeming about any of it. But especially Revenge of the Sith, I actually enjoy Revenge of the Sith quite a bit. But yeah, let's go, man.
My God, the dialogue is so bad.
But George was not known for his dialogue.
So I'm not. The dialogue's bad. That's fine. But I can look at Darth Maul and forget that they're talking, and then the fight scene is good, and I can just be like,
They're like two
all of
scenes.
all of Anakin
The whole thing.
Skywalker's little, I forget it. Josh, is it Lloyd? I forget that he was even in
Jake,
it.
the unfortunate Lloyd.
Yeah. They just put Darth Maul on the screen enough that I go, oh, Jake Lloyd poofed, and there's Darth Maul. He's really cool. And then I really like Qui-Gon Jinn. I like Qui-Gon Jinn. He's awesome. And Ewan McGregor is Obi-Wan. I like that. And I feel like that if George actually got somebody to actually write dialogue, that it could have been 15 million times better than it was for me.
Because they weren't.
What's that?
I said they could have been good, but they weren't. The problem, one of the many problems I have with the prequels, George Lucas needs a handler. That's why Star Wars was good. That's why Empire Strikes Back was good. Return of the Jedi was far less good because he started getting more just straight up control.
His head got a little too big.
He has good ideas. He's just not very good at implementing. He has terrible ideas that someone needs to say, is not necessarily something that anyone wants to see on the screen for any amount of time. Hey, why don't we just scrap the first movie altogether because it's really not necessary? We could just throw a little bit more in the beginning of the second movie, and it's going to be an overall better storyline.
I don't know that I
get a good actor to play Anakin. That would be
no. See, I don't know that I disagree with any of that. It's one of those things that.
It's a secret.
I'm still transported to that universe when I watch it. It's one of those I can still imagine I'm a Jedi, or I'm flying an X-wing or whatever. I didn't really like the ships in the first one either. Those the
shiny ones.
And the one and all of Anakin's stuff in it was pretty much garbage. Let's just call it what it was, right? But I could still see myself in the Star Wars universe, and I could still pretend that it's a universe far, far away, and be encapsulated by it and enjoy it and have fun, right? I can, and you're absolutely right. George needs somebody to guide him. You can see it just from the edits. The edits, all the stuff they input in. It's like, what the hell? I don't need the CGI monster walking through Mos Eisley. What are you doing? It's just a waste. The fireworks. The fireworks they put at the end of Return of the Jedi. It's like, just stop it. You don't need any of that. Cut it out, right? So, yes, I get all of that, and even with all that, I still like them. And it's like one of those things I just, it makes me feel like a kid. What can I say? When I'm watching those movies, I feel like a kid, especially the opening to Revenge of the Sith, the sky the space battle. Even though a lot of it doesn't make sense, and the buzz droid should have killed everything, I don't care.
I mean,
I can realize that, and I don't care.
Isn't that most of fandom, though? Like,
I mean, I
most
think
of
at this
fandom
point-
has those plot holes that, like, that guy should have been able to take out everybody. What happened there? Like, that's riddled in all fandoms. It's just like, it is what it is.
I mean, the whole first space battle pretty much makes no sense, but it looks so awesome, and like they were doing lightsaber
I gotta
stuff.
say though, at this point, everyone that hated on the prequels is probably begging George Lucas to come back to the franchise, and that right now.
Actually, I wish they would just let it die.
Yeah,
let it.
That too.
Yeah. Well, I'm assuming all of you are mega hyped for Cassian Andor series. I know.
It took me a long time to figure out who that was. I was like, oh, that was the dude who wasn't really important in that movie with the girl and the robot.
Oh,
which is
my
kind
God.
of it's the Harrison Ford explanation of almost thing. How did you feel working with Yoda? I don't know what a Yoda is.
Oh my God.
But I will say though, I do agree a little bit that I thought Revenge of the Sith had some pretty good elements to it. Out of the prequel trilogy, I probably do like that one the most.
It's still my favorite. I mean, it's like, and I can look. I'm not gonna say the story. Like I've said it a few times, the story has a ton of problems. Let's be real. I'm not gonna be. I'm not gonna deny that. I'd be stupid to do it. Like so, I can acknowledge that. It might be irrational that I like it, but I could be irrational every once in a while, right?
Everybody has something.
Yeah, in between, the space battle being extremely cool for me, even though it doesn't make sense. Like I get it, and then just I know there's a lot of people that think the battle on Mustafar went too long. I don't think so. I don't care. I liked it. Just leave it.
Lord,
I'm fine with it. I don't care.
They were fighting was another line of bad dialogue that was getting stewed at me.
Yeah, they just take out most of the dialogue. It's great.
Yeah, just mute it. Just mute it.
Mute the whole thing, and it's great.
Just mute it for the wom 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 wom, and then the twirly, the twirly flail,
twirly lightsaber. That's all we care about.
They're not touching each other. They're just. It's like, hey.
Well, they were. That would have been already a superior cut. I want to share something just real fast. So, Attack of the Clones, which is a fucking stupid name. Back in the days of DVDs, you could program it so it would only play certain scenes. It wouldn't necessarily play the entire thing. So for my kids, they were very young when these came out. For probably 10 or more years, they thought that middle film was called Obi-Wan's Big Adventure. Because I cut out all of the Anakin scenes except for the very end where I couldn't, and they were just a little confused about who I was, but they didn't really care. So Obi-Wan's Big Adventure. And then my daughter actually saw it. She's like, "Dad, what'd you do?"
But did he ride a shiny red bicycle?
Well, and I think that you're completely fair. Like the Anakin Padme love story is pretty much garbage. But it's
so
like
bad.
I've blocked. I don't know why I've been able to do it with this, but I've blocked all that out, and I just see the shiny things, and that's okay with me at this point because everything else I can't anymore. I don't know why with that property I seem to be able to just sort of block it out and be like, okay, I know this is garbage, but I don't give two craps. I'm having fun, right? And then you just fast forward through the Anakin like cutting a pear with the Force and like humping in the grass on Naboo. You just get through that part. It's like okay, and it cuts down the movie in half. And it's like, man, that was not a bad half
like
hour.
45 minutes without the Anakin part.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, man. I think we've got like one of the best comments in the chat for that right now. Magic Tech Max says, I was hitting puberty when Attack of the Clones came on. Witnessing cringe Anakin flirt creeped me out.
What, Mags? Did you think that's how it was done, Mags? Were you messed up for life? You're like, this is how flirting's done. That doesn't seem right.
Oh man,
that's
this is the amount of delusion. This is how we know that we love these properties, because this has got bad relationship red flags all over it. You know, I just hit the mute button and flashy lightsabers is all I care about. You know, if she wants to wear that dress and talk a lot at a party, that's fine. I love her. You know, what am I going to do? Divorce her? You know, it's like it's bad relationship stuff across the board.
Well, the fact that Padme is 20 years older than Anakin, it seems like. I mean, like there's something there too. I mean, it's not that much, but it's just like
I'm pretty sure it was illegal.
I think, probably. I mean, he's 14, I think. So, or I don't know, whatever. But yes, I acknowledge all the faults, and I still,
that's
fair.
Everyone likes that one thing that's kind of cringy. Everyone has one.
I still look upon it lovingly, and it just it felt like a good thing to talk about because I know there are like staunch defenders. Like, I'm not that guy. I'm not going to be like, no, you're wrong.
Yeah.
It's the perfect script, and this is why they cast Anakin to be a little idiot head.
Have you seen the Obi-Wan kind of monologue about Anakin? It's not really Obi-Wan talking, but it's hilarious.
I probably haven't. I don't think so.
Oh,
no.
I'm gonna find it.
It's a little long though. I don't know.
Is it too long?
But no, I mean to that effect too. It's like I'm not this isn't going to be my movie that I bring up today because it's not one that I'm going to defend with my life. But for all of its inaccuracies, I actually did enjoy the Hobbit trilogy as well. I thought like the movies themselves were fun, even though I knew everything that was wrong with the movies based on the book and how much they made up and whatever. But I was like, I still enjoyed the movies. I'm not going to die on that hill. I'm not going to defend that one with my life. But I did enjoy the movies for what they were.
This is of the Empire won't let them play in the house because she's already feels that they've painted the Lord of the Rings for her with the boy band hobbits.
Well, you're going to be begging
the dwarves. The dwarves were all wrong. Yeah,
we're going to be begging for the Hobbit to be played after you see Rings of Power. So.
One thing I will always say, as far as the Hobbit trilogy, I love the Misty Mountain song. That's one of my favorites.
That was a
out of that.
For sure.
Like that's amazing, and all of the scenes with the White Council and Galadriel just tossing people left and right, just like like that's why I would ever watch The Hobbit again. I would cut everything out except for the dwarves singing and Galadriel and the White Council.
Oh, the one, yeah. Oh, yeah. Actually, you're right. The dwarf singing scene is actually very good because this isn't on anybody's list, and we are on the clock. So let's Hobbits.
Your Magic Tech says, Steven, you didn't learn from it, but still had bad relationships. But yeah, so let's go ahead and move on.
Dating someone who was 14 years younger, and
So we wanted to kind of make sure Steve got his thing in. So then now let's just kind of go back up to the top here, and we'll go to Roman.
Okay,
you're up.
I can machine gun mine at the end if we need to.
I can wait because I don't think mine's going to turn into as much of a discussion as I might have thought. So you can go ahead.
All right, fair enough. So this one, I am going to share my screen with you if it allows me to do so. I don't have any audio this time, so even I can't fuck that up.
We'll see.
Fuck up a lot of things. All right, I guess we'll see. Okay, so it's up there.
That's just an image.
It's a series of images.
Okay. There we go.
So my movie is Star Trek: The Motion Picture, and this came out in 1979. Most people think it is incredibly dull. And they are fine if it doesn't exist and it just starts with Star Trek Wrath of Khan. I like this movie because it, one, reintroduced you to this cast who hadn't been on screen since 1966, I think, is when it went off.
7 or 8.
But it had been a minute, and this came out, so it's at least 10 years since you'd seen these folks together on screen. The uniforms are not good. I got that. And yes, there are parts that are slow, but what you did get back, you got the Klingons, you got the Jerry Goldsmith score, which ultimately became the theme for Star Trek: The Next Generation. You got the new Klingon design. Now, granted, they are a little more ape looking here than in Next Gen, but this was a radical shift from the series where they just basically looked like us, except pissed off. You got a lot more backstory with Spock. I like the story itself as well. The whole the Voyager probe that went missing now come back, and you just have to open yourself up to this one. because, like I said, yes, it is slow, and there's some weird stuff. Not Scotty's mustache, that was fine. You did get the new effect for warp speed. It actually looked like something, whereas in the show it never really looked like anything. It's just a higher hum. The V'ger ship is big and weird. Ilea is one of the weird parts. She was played by an actress, Persis Kambata, I believe is how it's pronounced. I could be entirely wrong on that. But she gets kind of the actual character gets replaced by a semi-robot thing because the Voyager it's now intelligent, it's sentient, and it's big and it's powerful, and it's trying to get back home to find its creator. So that's not good for us, the humans, the tiny humans. That's the Voyager probe. The effects I thought were really good. Now, this movie exists because Star Wars existed, and Star Wars existed because Star Trek came before it. It's kind of the circle of life. And it's almost a play on another episode that they had back in the original series where there was a probe that gained some powers. And it's a very similar storyline, just with a bigger budget. But bringing all these characters back was so good. It's, Star Trek as a franchise is dead now, but this rebirth phase I think was really important. And the movie, I enjoy it a great deal. My family will not watch it. It is on, and I'm left in the living room by my drinking, sadly, and watching Star Trek. You guys have no thoughts on this, do you? You've just forgotten this movie existed.
Nope.
I'm not
a
a
big
Trekkie.
fan.
I don't. When it comes to Star Trek, I'm just like, it's cool.
My question, because I'm not much. I've watched them all once through, but I don't know them very well. Like I don't know how you guys recall episodes of Star Trek, the first, the original series. Like you get like Nerporeal, who I'm streaming with later. He can just like pick an episode out. It's like I don't understand how you guys do that. But my question is, do you think there's any hope that Star Trek can be reborn again in like 10 years after all this stuff is over?
They have to let it die. Well, it's dead. And if they keep going on current course, it's just going to end up getting canceled and you may never see it again. The Kurtzman work is terrible. It's sub shit. Things that look like they could be cool end up have costs that are great that they don't do a job with. That's just like almost, all the writing now, except even then a lot of the concepts are bad. But the Kurtzman era of Trek could kill if they let it die, and they're not going to because they have to keep animating fucking Frankenstein. It'll be over, and it'll be just like Doctor Who is going to be, and most of them are, and James Bond, the things that they just can't let be. Leave it alone for 10 years and try again is a great idea, but will they? No.
Probably not. And I have another thing here that's probably going to make Roman mad, in that the only Star Trek movie I've ever seen was the one reboot, the first of the reboots.
2009.
That's what you wasted your life on.
I was never a Star Trek fan. I grew up watching Star Wars. I'm not one to sit there and argue and debate between the two, but I never got into.
Hey, Eric Bana's ship was really big and green, and there were lots of stuff hanging off of it. Okay, like there was big, lots of shinies in that movie.
Well, we got Magitech here says that her guilty pleasure is Star Trek 4. So you got one Trekkie in the
I killed Roman.
I like Star Trek 4. I like the one with the whales. It's not my favorite. My favorite is Wrath of Khan. But the one with whales isn't bad. There's some decent humor in there. Now, Star Trek 5, that's a complete garbage movie. I don't think anybody can defend Star Trek 5.
Is that what? 5's Undiscovered Country, right?
No, that's 6.
The 6. Okay.
5, The Final Frontier, directed by William Shatner, which got a different effects team, no budget, and I don't know
bad
who wrote
script.
it. The script was terrible. There was nothing good about that movie.
Well, and here we've got Matt saying that they're actually working on a new TV show, but then when Star Wars came out, the studio decided to make movies.
Were Star Trek Phase 2. It was an idea, and there's a lot of really good Star Trek fan stuff on YouTube. Right. Star Trek Continues and Star Trek. They might even call Star Trek Phase 2, but there are some good ones on there. I mean, they don't look a lot different than the original series because they have about the same budget.
I was always oh, sorry, go ahead.
I've always been a defender of this film. The funny thing is that nobody has criticism beyond it's slow, it's too chatty, it's too calm, it's not paced very well. Nobody actually says it's a bad movie. It was poorly executed. The acting is terrible. None of that happens. None of that happens. Yeah, the costuming is a little pale. Yeah, the sets are a little too pretentious, I think. The story gapes like 2001 at points, but
I do agree.
It's a 2.5 hour Star Trek episode, and that's the thing that I love about it. It's like Solaris.
So it's either Steven who likes it, and the rest of you who just wish it.
Oh yeah, it's a lot of meh. It's a lot of meh. A lot of people just go meh.
Well, that makes sense if they shifted from a TV show to a movie too. I mean, it's one of those you think, some TV show aspects don't translate to a movie as good, so they had to make some changes.
No, and then of course, by the time all said and done, Star Trek II came along, which was a master stroke, bringing uniform change good. Khan,
that's the Benedict Cumberbatch is Khan, right?
In the new
no.
in the altered timeline, the Calvin in the Calvin and Klein universe, the labeled underwear universe.
All right, I'm pushing.
No, man. Shit, no. I believe you get your ass kicked saying something like that, man.
And it's true. In certain circles, you can get your ass kicked for saying stuff like that.
Oh boy, yeah. Well, I know. I'm poking fun. I'm sorry. I couldn't.
But I think Cumberbatch's chest was fake in
his chest.
Yes, which is nice. Star Trek lore at its finest.
Sweet. Yeah, I was always.
Bye, Mags. Thanks for hanging out. You got to take off. I guess it's dinner time.
Oh, right on.
Oh, night, Mags.
Coming by, Mags.
Bye, Mags. Yeah, I was always at Next Generation. I watched a lot of the Next Generation. That was what I watched. Not that I'm very as versed as many. I watched them. That's about it. I didn't memorize them.
I thought Next Gen was good. The only new Trek aside, because we'll shove that way over here. I wasn't a big DS9 fan, and there were aspects of Enterprise I liked, but I don't think it was a very well developed show, or whatever. Something bad happened to Enterprise.
Yeah, I couldn't get into Voyager either. It was I don't know. It was just I don't know. It just wasn't for me, but I get it.
Yeah, I think suffice to say, as far as saving the property or what the future of the IP is going to look like, not passing judgment on it at all. At this point, I'm like a zombie apathetic, I guess, at this point. But, they destroyed the Western at some point in time between like 1948 and 1968. They almost killed the Western dead. And then the spaghetti Westerns revived it. So I guess we could call that a silver lining. We're going to have to wait 15 or 20 years, perhaps, before somebody does it right again. Everybody thought science fiction was dead, and then George surprised the hell out of everybody. Barbarella was not a well-received science fiction movie. Logan's Run had mixed bag of results.
I like
so, it's the 80s revived due to visual effects and old school fans growing up and getting some cash in their pocket made it happen again. I mean, we got Silverado down the road that resurrected the audience. We got 310 to Yuma, another excellent Western.
Tombstone. Tombstone.
Anything can happen. Yeah, exactly. I mean, I'm not optimistic, but history shows that there are future fans that will become new filmmakers, and they'll do something with it. Who the hell would have ever predicted The Godfather after watching late 50s gangster movies? They were pretty ridiculous at that point. I mean, it was all like snarky, tongue-in-cheek violence.
Yeah, it was a caricature of
itself. Oh. Yeah. Of the G-Man era of gangster movies. And then we got Papillon. We got, not Papillon, French Connection. We got,
Oh,
a whole bunch of crime drama in the early 70s that completely transformed the industry all over again.
See, I don't think you're going to see that with Star Trek, though. I would love for it to be a yes, but when a franchise tends to go bad, and this is happened with Doctor Who. Remember, it died a pretty slow death until they finally pulled the plug on it, and then you didn't see it again for almost 20 years.
I think so.
It went off, and I think they did that movie in '87, if my old is accurate, and then of course 2005, Russell T Davies brought it back, and he did a good job with it. But that was a long time, and it could be that long, maybe. But at current course, my optimism level is low.
I mean, the thing that I know right now, Yellowstone, it's kind of like this weird Western thing, it's super popular, and a lot of people, were thinking the Western genre was dead. I grew up, yes, I'm very young, but my family raised me right. I grew up on John Wayne, and I thought John Wayne was the only Western for me. No one can top John Wayne, but I'm really enjoying Yellowstone. So I think there is hope. Like what we're talking about, the people who can't really afford to do anything yet, or the just beginnings of filmmaking and stuff like that. If you go to YouTube, there's a ton of great fan films of anything out there. So the talent and the love is there, just maybe not the money to back it up. So I think there's hope for a lot of these franchises. Maybe somebody my age or younger is one of these days I'm going to become a billionaire and buy out all these stupid people from the franchises and make them right.
Somebody will wake up and remember it's about making money, not only about
no lie, man. No lie.
We should never forget that two of the best Star Trek spin-offs are Orville and Galaxy Quest. So it doesn't necessarily have to nail the property by title. It just needs to revive the Federated Planets epic space opera kind of science fiction that we're all craving right now.
Those are homages to the original Trek.
Oh, absolutely.
And Star Trek is an homage to earlier science fiction works as well.
Well, Star Trek Federation because it was the original cast. You were able to bring them back. I mean, you can't do that anymore, obviously, because most of them are dead or in their 90s.
We don't need them.
I don't like the reboots. I don't like the Chris Pine movies. When I watched originally, I was like, oh, okay, yes. And then the more I saw them, for the rewatch, I was like, oh, I really don't like the lens flare, the interactions between Kirk and fake Spock, really. And then so it just is.
Michael Bay, right?
But Khan, you liked. We got that. Khan.
Not that Khan, Steve. Wrong Khan.
How many are there?
I'm trying.
There's only one.
I'm trying to get the clip. Sorry.
Oh no!
All right. So with all that being said,
I see. Steve is a clip farmer like John.
Yes. One of these days, I will go back and get all of these clips.
It's just doing something to be very cool right now. It's not called for.
So, with all that being said, before Roman has a rage fit and knocks over all his action figures and flips his table over.
Yeah. Oh boy.
All right. So on to Mando. What do you have for us? Movie that you would defend with your life?
Well, I can share my screen for just the poster image of the show.
Perfect.
Give me a second, and I will.
I'm a little afraid. What are we looking at here? Clipped.
Yeah.
I clipped it.
Yes.
I like small soldiers. What?
So I'm pretty sure I've seen this movie, but it has been a very, very long time.
So here's the two reactions every time I've ever mentioned this movie is, what was that? Or isn't that a kid's movie? Wasn't that with the Toy Story? But I'm like, no, it's not Toy Story.
The Gorgonites. I love small soldiers.
I loved this movie growing up. I probably saw it way too young, but this was my Toy Story. I watched this before I watched Toy Story. I thought Toy Story copied this and was like, "Oh, this is like a G version of Small Soldiers." But
man, I'm dying on that hill with you. I love this movie. People
Yeah,
don't
me
like this
too.
movie. Oh my
yeah,
gosh.
there are people it's either they have no idea what it is or that's just a weird kids movie. Why do you
Vaguely
care?
remember it existing.
And so the premise for any of you in the chat who don't know what this movie is, basically this toy company gets their hands on military microchip technology and decides to put military grade microchips into toys because who thought that anything would go wrong?
Right.
And apparently the toys get sentience.
Yeah.
And the basically the premise is the soldiers are trying to kill off these Gorgonites, which are the kind of beast creatures, and they think that they're alive, but what ends up happening is these toys go nuts and they take over this kid's house, and there's this kid and his love interest trying to figure out what the heck is going on with these toys, and they're trying to kill each other, and they're stabbing and people get blown up, and it's a great movie because it's got action, it's got that weird romance with the two teenagers. It's like, I like you, but I don't like you, and it's just just get a room.
What year did this come out?
It's a
98.
Pre-Spider-Man. Kirsten Dunst is the love interest. Yes, I mean the dude's name is Chip Hazard, for gosh sakes. I mean, come on, come on.
But
Rick Bazooka. I mean, good. I mean, come on.
Straight up, one of the soldiers stabs one of the kids, and it's just and the kid's holding it, what the heck are you? You're a toy. And he takes a knife and he just stabs him. Who doesn't like movies like this?
The toys start building bombs and blowing up stuff too. It's like throwing freaking saw blades and stuff.
What was the good guy? The ape looking fella or the other?
Yes. The ape looking dude, they're kind of like pacifists. That's one of the things. We've got these military G.I. Joe against these pacifist aliens, and so basically the G.I. Joes are we're gonna annihilate every single thing other than us.
It's funny because it's flipped on its head because the soldier guys are supposed to be the good guy, but they're really crazed, that they're just freaking nuts, and the monsters are all the good, hey, we're good dudes. So
it probably just comes down to resources, like most do,
So man, I love this. I love Small Soldiers. People are crazy; they don't like it. Good Lord.
I know, because when I was even looking it up just for this to make sure I was remembering stuff right, in the actual description for the movie, if you go to Wikipedia, it says this movie had mixed reviews, and it's got a 6.5 as far as a 1 through 10, and I'm just I loved this movie. Especially if you are into war movies or Rambo, this is it's toy version, but dude, there's explosions, there's toys being sawn in half, and I'm gonna die. Toys quote unquote dying because they got freaking their chip blown out of their head. What?
Tommy Lee Jones.
Jerry Goldsmith did the soundtrack. Well, that's.
Well, Tommy Lee Jones is Chip Hazard too, right? Isn't he? I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
Oh, really?
So, I mean, yeah.
What the heck?
Yeah, it's early on. There's some wonky stuff.
Yeah, it's definitely also very 90s, but still.
The all the animatronic completely makes sense because they are actually toys. So you can't even disclaim it for bad effects because they're toys. I mean, it's the same way the Toy Story got away with it with CGI. This gets away with it with animatronics because they're 12-inch action figures.
If you want, I've got the trailer. It's a 2-minute trailer. We don't have to play the whole thing, but I've got the trailer on a different tab if you want to watch some of the trailer. It's very 90s.
Okay, yeah, we could probably maybe pull that up, but either leave the audio off or kind of skip through it or something. But actually, no, leave the audio on, but maybe kind of skip through a little, something like that.
Okay. So let me see if the audio can.
Yeah,
can you guys hear it?
Yep.
Globotech Defense System. In
very
a
90s.
Lab, the world's most advanced military microprocessor has been created. But the Cold War is over. For Globotech to survive, new markets must be found.
I'm the television announcer, making my television announcements.
Basically.
Unlike any known
So yeah, they have this super high-tech
they make
chip.
Strong.
And they put it
made
into
clever.
toys.
They made it small.
Chip hazard.
They made a mistake.
Dude, where's Nick Nitro at? That's my boy. Ooh.
So like yeah, like it's very much like 90s. Let me try and skip through. So they do the like little army dudes, and then
Hey,
let me try
there's
and
Nick.
yeah, and then these are like the two
Awkward
main
teenagers.
characters, awkward teenagers. Like this guy, so this person in this scene is like gonna try and climb up and like stab people.
The few.
We have met the enemy. He is big. He is fast. Yeah.
The proud.
And like the dog is like periodically chewing them up. Like I think they even strap like a bomb to the dog, if I remember correctly. Like there's this dude, he's like in half, and he's like, I gotta get my body back and stuff. I don't know why they're not showing the Gorgonites. I guess this trailer was just for the actual soldiers. But yeah, like it's like it's small military, like it's military on a small scale.
It's really good.
So fantastic.
Oh, man,
It's like
that's
G.I.
awesome.
Joe, WrestleMania, and He-Man all wrapped up into one action figure series. It's great.
And also, so the toys, they realize, oh, we have microchips in our brain. That's why we're sentient, and they start putting them in all of the other toys. Like there are Barbie dolls that are like half of their head is like sawn off with a microchip,
I
and like
forgot about that. Yeah, you get some wacky stuff. Yeah, it's
like
crazy.
there's like a beach scene with the Barbies and the soldiers that are like it's like Vietnam kind of scene where it's like these Vietnam soldiers are like hanging out with these Barbie dolls, and it's just like it's just fun.
Wow.
In my
when
opinion.
did Toy Story come out again?
I don't remember.
5?
Okay, so this is after
so this
Toy
is
Story.
in response. This is in response.
Yeah, Toy Story
to
was
Toy
before
Story.
that for sure.
Yeah, I think
Okay.
it's probably right in response to Toy Story, but
The edgier
Totally different.
side of Toy Story.
Excellent
yeah.
choice, though. That was a
Quite
little
a
bit of
bit
a
edgy.
deep cut. I forgot about that movie. As Zach
Yeah.
said, he also did.
We,
so.
we probably didn't see that because my son was a lot younger. He was born in 2000. Like Toy Story and all that, he was allowed to watch. Obviously,
probably be
Family
horrified
that
by
one.
that. As he
That one, Mrs. of the Empire probably said, "No,
There-
no."
There's probably
Not-
some for
no.
a young child. There's probably some nightmare fuel in there with the Barbies
Right,
and stuff.
right.
I'm not.
I
You
mean,
know, they're
yeah,
like
it's
slowly
a
like trying to
little-
put the DVD in, and she's like, "No, don't do it." Stop
I'm trying to
it.
figure out why it never made it into like my Rolodex of memories for movies, and that's probably why, because it just would have been something that was in
Yeah.
the kids' library.
Well,
Yeah,
I was born in 92, and this came out in 98, and I watched this like when it came out. I don't know why I was allowed to, but I remember watching this like, man, this is amazing. I prefer this over everything else.
Because it's a kids movie.
Right.
Yeah,
It's about
it's
toys,
right? Yeah, it's
Yeah, and
good.
that's what like
It's
that's the
wholesome.
other response I get from people who like I tell this movie, they're like, "Oh, so it's like a kids movie for toys, like Toy Story." Like
100%.
Yeah.
Sure, go for it.
You watch some
In
weird
much the
kids
same way
movies.
that Chucky is a toy. Yeah.
Also, a kids'
100%.
movie.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Gather the family around, watch Child's Play. It's
Annabelle.
great. It's fine.
Oh yeah, it's a holiday movie.
so I will defend
Alright.
this movie like to my dying breath that this is an amazing movie. It's underrated and sorry, what did you say?
Solid choice.
It's interesting. I mean, because I had forgotten about that it existed. I may have seen it when I was the version of me. So
If you watch it, you'll know immediately if you've seen it as soon as you turn it on. It's that type of
Mhm.
movie.
okay.
Solid choice.
Yeah, Jacob
so
Ironside,
then-
one of the quotes, you know, I love the smell of polyurethane in the morning.
Yeah, there's so many nested jokes in that movie too. I mean, it's like making fun of Rambo and Platoon and everything. Yeah, Apocalypse
Mhm.
Now, everything. It's great.
So now with that, I guess that brings us over to Stephen Ransom. Stephen, what do you got for us?
I had thought of two different movies. One of them is defending an art house film, and the other one is defending a 80s silly, crazy, tongue-in-cheek comic book movie. What are you guys up for? More importantly, I will go with my art house one if everybody on the panel enjoyed Howard the Duck. If everybody liked Howard the Duck, I'm not going to bother defending it.
I never watched Howard the Duck. I'm going to put it right out there.
It's been a long while since I've seen it, but I enjoyed it.
I don't remember. I feel like I've seen it, and I just don't remember.
Roman?
It's been a while.
I don't really recall the movie. I do remember not liking the movie. It's not really the same thing. And like, for instance, the prequels, I remember hating those. I don't, I just, and why? Howard the Duck, I probably just push it aside to just being a lot of people like Howard the Duck. All the Brits that I do the show with, they all love it. And I'm just kind of like, oh, all right, it's a largely harmless film. I can let it be.
Okay, so you know what? Just for tongue in cheek, I think I'll stick with that one because it's lighthearted. The other one gets into some like silly nonsense we don't need to get into. But okay, so here's what if you could, John, bring up the image of the poster so everybody knows what we're talking about here, and then bring up that comic book panel, the Howard the Duck comic book panel next, and then we'll watch the clip.
Let's see.
But I can say his presence in Guardians of the Galaxy bothered me.
Yeah, it bothered me too because it's not my Howard the Duck, but you know, whatever. There's that.
Almost there. Hold on, I was ill prepared for this one. I had the clip pulled up from the email. I didn't think to. Okay, here we go.
So here's the poster. Now this is like 86, I think, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, it's 86.
I think that sounds about right.
This was a time period where, you know, we were doing incredible stuff with animatronics with like Dark Crystal and Yoda, and, you know, the visual effects teams were really, really doing some incredible stuff with puppetry and so on, and small people in costumes. So I guess they thought they had enough technology to make this all happen. And it has kind of like a John Hughes vibe, but let's show the comic book page to give everybody a sense of what this thing looked like as an IP before they started developing it for film. This is basically Howard the Duck. This is standard fare for Howard the Duck. He's a duck from a universe, from a planet where everybody looks like Daffy and Donald, basically. Like the whole planet looks like these guys. And he winds up getting transported to Earth.
And I think it's the entire concept for me. I am not a whimsical fellow. And so the idea
good choice of words
of a planet of ducks, I don't know. It lacks a certain appeal. I get that he's a dirty duck.
I get you,
filthy duck. But
I get you.
It just had no resonance with me at all, and I'm actually surprised they made it.
The defense is that, you know, Guardians of the Galaxy was able to pull this off. The comic book page.
Well, they had a talking raccoon.
Rocket Raccoon looked exactly like this on the page. He looked weird. It was like, I don't get what I'm looking at here. It's pretty crazy. I mean, giant guns helped a lot. You know, big pouches with ammunition in them helped a lot for Rocket Raccoon. But so let's show the clip and you'll get a sense of like why this is such a cult. You're either on one side of this fence or you are definitely not on this side of the fence. Just to give you an idea.
Real quick before we hit that, I want to say hi. We've got Chef Nick has joined us in the chat. He is on the fence of enjoying Howard the Duck. He liked it as well. And then got MVP Max popping in for a minute. He wants to know who had to defend their movie the most. I think it's between Steve and Roman. I think it was somewhere between the prequels and Star Trek a little bit. There was a lot of debate between the two of them.
I thought I was going to have to defend mine more. I don't know. Like most of the people in my circle, like my sphere, are just like, that's stupid.
Dude,
like
Small Soldiers is amazing. I'll fight anybody. That movie is so good.
No one cares what you say.
Me? Yes. Well, I mean,
all right. So
all I see when you're talking, all I see is Benedict Cumberbatch's Khan. That's all I see. The real con, Benedict Cumberbatch.
Shit like that's going to bring us to a head.
Yeah, well, that's just like your opinion, man.
Yep.
All right, so let's go ahead and pull the clip up here now.
Yeah.
No,
So this is a
trailer.
young Leah Thomas and a young Tim Robbins.
The sea of stars.
Can you guys hear it?
Mhm.
Yep.
Okay,
A
good.
world almost exactly like ours. This is where he lives. He's 27 years old, single but searching. Favorite sports, windsurfing and Aikido. Favorite pastimes, cigars and sex. He has everything except fulfillment. And then one night, it happens.
Hey, good buddy, are you home?
See, and I mean, I think there's something to be said too for like the campy '80s aspect of it. Like,
Yep.
you have to also kind of realize like when it came out, and
Listen to me, small visitor. I can explain how you got here.
Yeah, this is like within a couple of days of Back to the Future 2.
Here, he's forced
Oh,
to
wow.
reset his career goals.
You went to med school?
To explore new relationships.
Tim Robbins.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, we don't allow pets on the premises.
To adjust to a changing lifestyle.
All right, pull it out.
Until he discovers just who he really is.
Oh, no.
A duck in big trouble.
A duck in big trouble.
Howard the Duck, trapped in a world he never made. Coming from George Lucas, a Willard Heights.
God damn you, Lucas!
Comes from George Lucas.
Same man who brought us the prequels, eh? I see what happened here.
He also brought us the original trilogy, so
Yep.
That's
Yep.
good
He
too.
also brought us Willow too. So let's yeah. Yep.
I mean, not
George.
everyone can hit home runs every time. So
Yep. Yep. And some can hit just a couple. I'm sorry, George. I love you, but
I would
you gave us a lot of great stuff. But
I would take a home run right now, just a single.
just give us one.
Just give me one. I just need one home run, please.
just an actual, real, genuine home run would be nice. But
absolutely.
I mean, Top Gun Maverick. I thought it was a home run.
I was gonna say that's about all we got going for us right now. It's so
it
funny.
was good, but it's like not that. Like I enjoyed it, but it's not that like, oh my god, life changing movie.
I mean,
like,
compared to what we have now, it's a breath of fresh air.
I enjoyed Top Gun Maverick a lot. That's not, I'm not saying that. It was really good.
I actually hated the original Top Gun.
So that
Well,
brings
you're
up the
Navy guy,
prequel
so of
argument
course
way up.
You would hate it. My
See, now
Navy
the fact-
friends also hated it.
So now
But I
the
like,
fact you
I
don't
like,
the
but
prequel.
I like Maverick. So
But my claim to fame is that it was filmed in my hometown, so there's that.
Nice.
But I don't have much love for the first movie, and I haven't seen Maverick yet. But I appreciate the fact that it was full of like pro-America, pro-military, all that good stuff, and it was like the #1 movie in America. So while I haven't seen it yet, I appreciate the fact that it was successful.
Yeah, you and Max, the two people in America who haven't seen it. Nice job.
It's still making money right now. So
it was number 2. It was number 2 this weekend.
It's hard to spend money to go to a movie theater when I fall asleep during movies 99% of the time. So then it's like I'm paying to go take a nap. And it's not that the movies are bad. I just have a hard time staying awake. I don't know why. I wake up at 4 a.m. All right.
Was that like a PG-13 or an R-rated duck movie? What was that?
I think
it's a hard PG. It wasn't R. I don't think it was a hard PG. We were skating around PG-13 being developed at the same time.
Indiana Jones and Temple of Doom is what created the PG-13 rating.
Right. Well, I can just see
they
this
didn't
movie
quite want to
being
make it
mixed
R,
with-
but they didn't want to make it PG, so they were like, "We need an in between." Thank you, Temple
That
of
was a
Doom.
rip in the heart. I think. But
Yeah,
just like
mind
Small
you-
Soldiers, I can
And the
see
monkey
where this
brains and-
movie could be confusing for parents.
Oh yeah,
wow, it's a movie about a duck.
It's a talking duck.
my
Yeah.
God. You know,
I mean, like with me with Small Soldier, like it's about toys that come to life. Toy Story. No, don't let your kids.
Yes.
Yeah. Meanwhile, Howard the Duck has a condom in his wallet. He makes us aware that there is a condom in his wallet, at the time that the film came out, having a condom in your wallet protected you from AIDS, which was in the news all the time.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
we were living some strange days back then. The late 80s was some bizarre period in time. I was junior in high school when the film came out.
Oh, wow.
What year was it, Steve? 86?
86, yeah.
86,
Yes,
yeah.
I would have been, I guess, depending
You
on
were
which
still
part
old.
of 86. Yeah, I think I was a junior or soft. No, junior. I would have been a junior, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, 86, 87. So yeah, I would have been a junior.
Yeah, we're the same age. We're the same age. I graduated 87 high school. So yeah. Yep.
Mom, what is that duck doing to that lady?
Yeah. More importantly, what is that lady doing to that duck?
I didn't think ducks could do that.
Isn't that Marty's mom?
It is.
Any
It
ducking
is,
jokes
yeah.
here?
Oh my gosh.
Come on, that was good.
Oh,
Nothing.
boy. Well, I didn't hear you.
No, never mind. It's simply not.
It's the moment's gone.
Just talk amongst yourselves. Talk amongst yourselves.
The moment's gone.
What the hell is a gigawatt?
One in a
All right,
Google
so I guess that just leaves me. Which, like I said, I think I'm actually not going to have to defend this as much as I might have thought. But M. Night Shyamalan's The Village.
Yeah, you're gonna have to defend this one.
Okay, so I've brought this up a few times in recent live streams and chats, and most people were like, "Oh no, I like that movie." So here's been my experience.
I haven't seen it.
Oh well, spoiler alerts coming your way.
Yeah.
So
it's an M. Night movie.
I honestly think this was one of M. Night's last good movies before, like, maybe Split. I think I don't know. Roman and I have talked about this, gone back and forth. Like, he had one more recently that was good, but he had a long stretch of turds there for a while.
Cool.
But I loved Unbreakable. I loved Sixth Sense. And I wouldn't die on this hill, but I actually also like Signs. Signs got a lot of criticism. Signs got a lot of criticism for the look of the alien.
Yeah, whatever.
But I liked it. It was a good movie. But The Village, I thought, was kind of one of his last good movies for a while. And the criticism that I would always hear from the naysayers was always, oh, well, you know, it was lame because it wasn't a real monster. It wasn't really a monster movie. Like, so you missed the whole concept of how, I mean, like, this is how cults get started. You know, these people just decide, well, we don't like modern society, so we're just going to pack up and go buy a bunch of land and, like, wall it off with trees and shrubberies and whatever. And we're going to just live off the land and go, like, fucking pioneer style, and then have children and then raise our children to think this is the only reality there is, and then to scare them into staying in this village, we're going to tell them there's a monster out there in the woods.
Basically, it's a cult.
You could really do this. People probably really do this. So I thought the concept and the story and the idea was interesting, but every time, 100% of the time, maybe not lately online, but face to face with friends and people over the years, that always, every time, they're like, it wasn't a real monster, so it was lame. And I was like, you just missed the entire point of that movie.
Hey, Steve, how do you want to cut out? Do you need to split at the moment?
I got a jet. I stayed as long as I could because I got to prep for my stream with Nerporio here in about an hour. But I wanted to try and get through I want to see everybody's choices, so I'm glad I made it to the end.
There's mine.
Yeah. So I wouldn't say it's my favorite movie, but I like The Village. It was okay, right? I think you're right. It's probably one of his last good ones, but
I feel like it's one that I've always had to defend. So it's like, maybe it's not my favorite movie, but it's one where I found it really interesting, and everyone that I would try to talk to about it would just be like, "Oh, it was lame." Like, "Oh, okay, well, I'll defend it."
Yeah, no, I'm right there with you. It's not like, oh my god, what a great movie, but it was all right. If there's nothing else on, I'd watch it, right? And I'm not sitting there going, oh my gosh, this is utter trash. At least for me, I enjoyed it the first time I watched it, and I've watched it other times when there's not.
I guess
much
my thing
on,
was
right?
more like I was having a hard time thinking of movies that I loved that most people don't. So it was
That's-
like, okay, what's one that like I get criticisms on every time I bring up? So
I was the same way. That's why I feel like I sort of cheated and chose the prequels because I already know there was some hate there, but you know, I had to do something. I couldn't. I was like having trouble with it too, but yeah. So thank you guys for all having me. Anybody that hasn't streamed before, it was a pleasure meeting you. If thank you for having me. It was been awesome. It's been a ton of fun. I wish I could stay longer, but maybe we'll do it
I know
again.
you got a busy day going on. So are there any like last minute things you want to plug before you take off, or
just if anybody that's not subscribed to my channel, Prophet of the Dragon, I'm Wheel of Time based, but doing other things now and spreading out my well into a little bit of everything these days. So yeah,
awesome.
just
And then I
check me
usually
out.
try to do my due diligence of trying to anyone that I know for sure is going to be on. I try to put all your guys' info in the description of the video, at least Twitter, YouTube, whatever I can find. So if that's in the description, guys, go check out Prophet of Dragons. And yeah, it's great to meet you. Thanks for being on with us tonight.
Yeah,
absolutely.
A lot of fun, Steve.
Have more conversations.
Thanks for a
in the
lively
future.
debate.
Yeah.
Hey, anytime. Yeah,
I'm gonna remember that you got that clip somewhere in your freaking holster, though.
What Con is great is Benedict Cumberbatch. Yeah, I got you. We got you covered. I'll take care of you. All right, guys. Yeah, thanks again. Thanks again. Anytime, reach out and yeah, I'd love to do it again sometime.
Yeah,
Thanks,
definitely.
guys.
Have a great rest of your night.
All right, have a great night, guys.
Later.
Bye.
So
Back
yeah,
to your
that's
shitty
my
choice. So
yeah, that's
Nice.
my one. Like I said, like when we were talking in your backyard, Roman, when we first like pitched this idea of like, oh, like, movies that you love that everyone hates, like I started kind of thinking, I'm like, I don't usually run into a lot of issues of I love this movie and people are like, oh my god, that's terrible. And I kind of said one of the only other maybe close seconds, which again, in the YouTube world and in the chat and the live streams, I had a lot of people come back and go, oh, I didn't hate that as much. I would really, really defend the Christopher Nolan Dark Knight trilogy with Christian Bale and all that. And more so, I think people enjoyed Batman Begins. People loved The Dark Knight because of Heath Ledger as the Joker, and that was a fantastic performance. But really, the bookend of that trilogy that I think most people hated was Bane.
Yep.
Which I get it. I hear all their criticisms, and I understand all their criticisms, but I still thought it was a good movie. I understood that like Christopher Nolan was trying to put it more rooted in kind of like a real world universe rather than supernatural abilities and things of that nature. So I kind of understood what he was going for, but the people who didn't like it, I'm like, well, I understand why you don't like it also. Like,
Right.
I guess for me, I really enjoyed that take on Bane because people always forget that Bane is actually a really smart dude. Like he was a genius, and most people think Bane's this like Hulk smash kind of character. And I really enjoyed
like he was in Batman and Robin or Batman Forever, whichever one it was.
Right. And so I enjoyed that they finally brought out like he's a very intelligent dude, and he and Batman could go toe to toe. It like not only physically but also like intelligence wise. So that's why I really enjoyed the Bane in that movie.
Yeah, and especially as they pulled from
that you couldn't understand what he was saying very well, and that there could have been.
And again, like I said, I hear all of those things.
Not be humorous, because it
that was very good. That was an excellent imitation of him.
And I get why they didn't do the power serum, because there's almost no way you're doing that without it not being hokey or weird or unbelievable.
Right. And that's kind of the two we're looking at is the no, it was Batman and Robin. That was the title of that last one.
That was
Batman Forever was the one
way.
with the Riddler. And so yeah, Batman and Robin was the one where they had the stupid dumbed down Bane that like couldn't speak or whatever. So like they did the power serum and the whatever stuff, but like
it was through Poison Ivy. Like Poison Ivy created Bane.
No, they loaded so much shit into that movie, and that's what they got.
But so then I appreciated the fact with Tom Hardy, with okay, people don't like Tom Hardy, the mask, you couldn't understand and whatever. But the fact that, like Mando said, like they used that aspect of his personality and that he was not just a physical adversary to Batman, but an intellectual. Like he got like in the comic books, like he figures out that Bruce Wayne is Batman and like the whole thing and all that. And they pulled from the really famous. Oh Lord! And they pulled from the really famous Nightfall comic book series where Bane breaks Batman's back. So the fact that like they used that on screen is like that was kind of cool. Like okay, So,
Yeah,
I
think
get
they
it. When people
jammed-
say they don't like it, I get it.
They jammed so much of the Bane arc from the comic books into a single film. I thought it was kind of unfair. They could have done the whole thing without the back break. The back breaking added another notch of unbelievability because we were already dealing with this guy who could totally take on all of the world's intelligence agencies. We had this bomb that was invented that had this special power plant to it. I mean, there was already so many logs on this fire. He took over Gotham entirely. Where's the U.S. military? Where's the international military? It's not like Gotham didn't have an international bank or two in it that like Russia and China might be pissed off about. So there was already a lot of logs on that fire. And I think that's what kind of ruined it. It could have been a two-parter and still had so much meat on the bone still. The movie could have been divided into two features.
Well, and I even kind of think that about The Dark Knight also, how they sort of like shoehorned Two-Face in there, where it's like they could have like hinted up to Two-Face and had that been kind of the end of the movie, but then have him be in the third one. But the fact that they like introduced him and killed him quickly, it's like, well, you just wasted a whole movie.
Yeah, you just wasted a whole villain.
We have to understand, like, most of Batman, like comic book Batman villains, like they're never, like, in my opinion, they're on the big screen, they're never given justice because there's just so much backstory. There's so many facets to so many of Batman's villains that most your average moviegoer is not going to realize that the Riddler is like this really big bad guy that Batman's faced, or Two-Face or Bane. Like most people like, oh, Batman and the Joker, but like no, like Batman has so many bad guys that are just amazing. And I don't think one movie can really encapsulate like all of the amazingness that some of Batman's villains are.
And most of Batman's rogue gallery would not fit in the Nolan universe. It would be very hard to make that work.
Yeah. But not to leave John get off the hook here, because
you still got to
he
fight.
Brought up the Village, and I have some issues with the Village. And this is interesting too, because you guys are starting to get to know me. I'm a really aesthetics guy. I'm an aesthetics enthusiast. And the one thing that turned me off almost immediately with the Village was everything was so new looking. Here's this cult living in the woods, and everything looks like it was painted the day before shooting. Everything, the costumes, the twigs, the trees, the forest floor, everything looked like, oh, let's have an inch consistently of leaves across the whole set. I mean, everything just looked too neat and tidy. If it had had that grown in Hobbiton kind of look to it, where like we could feel how many years everybody had been there, we would lose track of time. I mean, for the most part in the movie, we're not entirely sure what time period we're in.
Yeah.
And that could have been a little bit more haunting. He could have let that resonate and stew for a little while longer, especially if we're going to make it feel like nobody would dare go up against the elders in the Village. You need that kind of like gravitas to the it's not really horror, it's psychological thriller at that point, right? And I come from a huge anime background, and this is a trope in a lot of anime mysticism. This is also where the whole Scooby-Doo concept comes from, is that it's some village elders in a costume haunting everybody to make sure he keeps them all in line. I mean, that's what the Village is. It's basically an episode of Scooby-Doo.
Yeah,
but
I never
turned
thought
up
of it
to
like
11.
that. Now that you've said it that way, I don't know if I could ever watch it the same way.
It's just
But I mean,
taking the trope seriously. If he just added a little more grain, a little more noir, it would have sat, I think, a lot better. It really turned me off. And as soon as that ending hit, I was like, wow, it was so obvious. I really thought they were going to go somewhere really crazy with this. Like we would lose track of whether or not it was a mystical creature, maybe even leave us guessing when we're leaving the theater. But he didn't. He didn't bother. He didn't bother with any of that. And it was after Unbreakable, it was like, really, dude, you just did Unbreakable. You just did Sixth Sense. You just did Signs. It's like, you got to be kidding me, man. And then he came out with The Happening, and I was just like, dude, this guy's done.
I don't even think I ever saw that.
Over.
I think
it's just over.
I saw, what was that movie? It was called like Lady in the Water or something like that. I watched that and I was like, I think we're done here.
Yep, I think we're done here. That was the last one. And that was such a great premise. It really could have stood. It could have held water.
Well, that like. Granted, like I said, I haven't seen the movie, but I've seen very similar things. And in high school, I went through an Edgar Allan Poe phase. So like psychological thrillers, like I don't know, and like the fact that like if it's as bad as you say it is, as far as like the aesthetic goes, and they like how deep and dark they could have gone. Like I remember reading The Telltale Heart, like Edgar Allan Poe, and thinking there was something in my wall when I went home. Like that's the kind of like if you didn't leave the movie theater feeling like there's something somewhere watching you, and that you could easily get pulled into that world, I don't think a thriller did their job right. Then
right, and that's where I guess
I'm gonna be looking for that van with kids and the dog when the movie's out.
In my mind, I've never thought of this movie as like a thriller like that. I think they sort of tried to pitch it that way, but once you've seen the twist, you realize that it's like that's not so much. But again, also as Roman and I have had conversations behind the scenes, is that M. Night Shyamalan does not make his movies for rewatchability. Like his movies early on were pretty good, but like once you kind of see the twist, once you see the end, it's sort of like, oh, okay, like you might watch it one more time to like try to find. I got bots.
Save the Shyamalan.
I got bots. It finally happened.
No.
Not me. I'll get rid of them.
I've arrived.
Damn you, sex bots. Was that all that talk about Howard the Duck? That's how this kind of shit happens.
Yeah.
But
I'll take that for
like.
Was that
all that Shyamalan is very like what you might watch the movie maybe one more time to kind of be like, oh, okay, let me see if I can pick up on the hints and whatever. But after that, you're like, okay, I'm good. Christopher Nolan, on the other hand, you guys, as you watch my channel, are going to get really tired of me talking about Christopher Nolan. But he makes his movies to make people want to rewatch them over and over and like try to see what's going on there.
There's a lot of dancing room talking about Christopher Nolan, because at least even if you don't agree that the movie is good, there's enough meat on that bone to have a proper discussion on the subject. Like you could present evidence, I could present evidence. The man's got a solid catalog. His entire filmography is saying the same thing the whole time. But M. Night, and I think this is one of my biggest criticisms of his latter half of his career, is that there was so much friggin' potential with this guy. It just pissed me off that he just dropped the ball. And then he did Avatar: The Last Airbender, and it's like,
I never saw that.
Like, what the hell, man? What the hell were you thinking? This is terrible. So,
like, first, like, that's not really like my realm or my universe to begin with. So, like, I wasn't even really aware of what that was. And then the fact that he was directing it, I was like, I am like negative 100% interested.
It was weird. Yeah, it was weird. That property just took a note. I mean, between M. Night not really being on board, they were forcing his schedule, and then we discover in hindsight that James Cameron was developing the movie The Avatar, and there was probably scheduling issues with title equality. Yeah. And that's what screwed that movie up. So it was all production nonsense. And M. Night just went along with it when he should have said, no, we're not doing this movie. This property, my nation, the entire Eastern Asian community deserves Avatar: The Last Airbender to be good. and we can't do it good, so let's not do it at all. So,
but the thing is,
Yeah.
like with any anime, like, and this is probably a hot take for some people, but no one, in my opinion, can do a live action anime well. I have never seen one that I have liked. I have never seen one that sticks to the source material well. I have never seen one that even can get the casting right as far as the look. Like, I think just Western media needs to stop trying to live action anything. Because Avatar: The Last Airbender was it's a international treasure and should have been treated well, and it wasn't, and it needs to die and burn.
Yeah, that is one animated series, certainly one animated series in the West that I would recommend to any age group. Every age group that's ever explored it comes away with smiles on their face every single time. So it's an international treasure to the community that loves it.
15-year-old who saw Howard the.
But I will say that we were talking about this the other day, Mando, that Scott Pilgrim vs. the World and Speed Racer are the only two properties that even came close. And I would say that Scott Pilgrim nailed it. It just nailed the hell out of it.
Yeah, but, I still hold to the opinion that like anime is just it's one of those things where you can't, because of how fantastical it is, there's really no way to do it justice, because like they're having a hard time with even like DC and Marvel people, even like with the modern technology that we have,
and
like
they're
they
all
can't even
human
do
characters.
that. They're not these fantastical aliens that can shoot lightning from their hands all the time at any moment that have glowing auras about them. Well, like like it's even different than like that.
Into the Spider-Verse. Into the Spider-Verse is a perfect example. Here's a property that didn't need to be live action, and they decided to do the correct thing, and they made it CG,
made it animated,
semi-realistic, Disney-fied, Disney style, DreamWorks style human characters. And they were able to pull it off. I mean, that film introduced a two-dimensional spider ham. And made it work. I mean, he even has like a
I think we just lost
moment.
Roman. He's like, and I'm out.
See, I'll be honest. Like, as far as modern anime goes, like, I'm not really a huge thing. Like, I'm in, like, when it comes to anime, I like the much older anime. I can talk like for days and months and years about old anime, not the new stuff. But like, that's why I don't consider myself a current anime fan. But I can go toe to toe about anime with the best of them.
You should come join. Blaine's Escape Corner on Friday. There's some good animation chat, and he's got an open mic on his channel on Friday.
Yeah, I was gonna say I think I can definitely speak for myself and probably for Roman. I think you guys are you're way over our heads at this point.
Yes.
Well, the thing is, they're as far as like so many people think that anime is just like Dragon Ball Z, one size fits all, like this fantastic. But like no, like anime has genres. Like it's not just cartoony craziness. Like if you tell me what you like as far as movies or TV shows, I can recommend an anime to you.
Yeah, that is no joke. I mean, actually on that channel I was just talking about, I came up with the expression. It's like, there's an anime for that. And we were literally talking about fictional flags, right? Like different national flags and different fiction flags from different like science fiction and TV shows and stuff. And I literally, all I typed in was an anime about flags. And there's an anime for it. There's an entire show about a fan club where they make flags for like their fictional characters. It's like anime is such a broad topic. There's sports genre, there's fighting genres, fantasy,
wrestling. And they also they've done different remakes of Marvel and DC characters. Like there's one, it's called X-Men Origins on Netflix, and it's an anime. They do better than especially any modern day like like animations like the X-Men, like Wolverine, like the way that in the anime style is freaking scary and amazing and awesome. So like they even do some Western things better than the Western people.
Yeah, there was Warner Brothers tapped a bunch of anime artists to do a promotional grouping of short stories for the Animatrix. It's actually called the Animatrix, and it's a bunch of.
Oh, I have seen that.
Okay,
I
that's all anime artists. Those are all Japanese artists. And then they did one for Batman when Nolan was doing his Batman stuff, and it's called Gotham Knights. And there's some really, really good Batman episodes in that short box set. So, yeah, anime, they can really pull the stops out, and they usually come from a handful of aesthetics that just makes the property so interesting to look at. They're currently still doing an ongoing superhero series called My Hero Academia. And you never saw a universe with so many creative applications of superpowers. You're like, wait a second, that's a superpower in this universe? This guy eats food and then he can genetically create tentacles based on the food that he ate? It's like, what the hell are you even talking about here? You know, it's just wacky, but because the tone takes itself so seriously, everything is filled with jeopardy. Everything's filled with heroism. It's magical. And I've only seen anime be able to execute such a thing where it's like the first 15 minutes, you're like, this can't be serious. And then by the end of the episode, you're like, holy shit, I gotta watch this. I gotta watch the whole fucking show. You know.
All right, guys. So we're kind of closing in on our hour and a half mark here. I think we were going to try to keep these closer to about an hour. So I think we're going to try to wrap it up here.
Sounds good to me.
Any last minute things anyone wants to pitch or throw out there? I'll start with my co-host here, Roman, what you have coming up, what you're working on.
All right, so tomorrow I'll be on at 12 PST with my UK crew, and we're going to be doing a look at series 1, 2, and 3 For All Mankind, and that should be a really good discussion. Then Thursday, John, myself, Steven, and who else do we have? Help me. Mark, Darren, and Brandon, the anime guy.
Right.
We'll be finishing off our Should Have Been One Night turned into 3-week discussion of our top 5 favorite movies. This one is just 2022's. So there's not a lot.
Oh, God, that's going to be short.
Era there. So it'll probably be weird. Pardon me, goodness gracious. And then that's it for me this week. I don't have anything going on Saturday, but is that it for me this week?
I have
an unboxing video I'm going to reveal probably later tonight or tomorrow.
Save that clip
for my John Constantine DC Direct.
I like John Constantine.
Oh, I finally actually did a video again, and it's my audio kind of sucks, but it's whatever. It's fine.
Well, and are we confirmed to jump on with the
Thursday shit!
After our...
Yes, I forgot. On Thursday,
save that clip too.
So Thursday is going to be an hour because we got to get off because we're jumping over on Zach's show to do. It's going to be a comparison of it's like a brackets of Arnold Schwarzenegger's characters in this movie. It's going to be a lot of fun. I'm really looking forward to it. It's going to be a hoot. So that
will be
that should actually be everything that we have going on right now.
All right. And Steven, anything interesting, exciting, new, anything you need to plug?
Nah, nothing really going on. This is this, and like I said, I haven't been last couple of Fridays, but probably this Friday I'm going to be at Blaine's Escape Corner doing some open mic with them, just chatting. I mean, it is the Escape Corner. We just talk anime, pop culture, that kind of stuff.
All right, awesome. And then lastly, the Untamed Mando. I know you said you're on live streams like every day this week. Anything in particular you want to throw out there or everything, whatever?
I'll just kind of go through what this week kind of looks like. So tomorrow and Wednesday I will be streaming on my Twitch channel for sure. Wednesday I will be joining with another Twitch streamer. Her name's Wicked Virtue. She and I have been friends for a while, and I periodically show up on her streams, and she does on mine. Thursday, Arcasul said that he's going to be doing his first live stream on YouTube, and I am a guest there. So unless he changed his mind and didn't tell me, I'll be there on Thursday, which normally, like, one of the reasons why no one ever sees me on Thursday is because I usually have a lot of IRL stuff on Thursdays, and this week it got canceled, which most of the summer, for some reason, it keeps getting canceled. I don't know what's going on with my IRL friends. I guess they're all on vacation or something. So this Thursday, I will be on his show, whenever that is. Friday, I will be on another live stream with my friend Wicked Virtue, and then Jade Fire, or Mara Jade, for those of you who are familiar with the community. And I'll also probably be showing up on Drunk 3PO's member streams, which I try and jump on Fridays and stuff. Saturday will be Literary Souls, and I think Sunday, I don't think there's anything going on. I don't know. Sometimes what ends up happening is I'll say yes, I'll be like, yes, I can do that, and then like the day before, I'm just like, oh god, that's a thing, I have to do. I don't want to do this. So yeah, that's what this week is. But generally, if you want to catch most of my stuff, I'm primarily on Twitch, and I for sure stream Tuesdays, Wednesdays, most Fridays at some point in time in the day. But that's just kind of, my life is very busy, and I don't know what to do with all of it. I'm just like, I have so many things I have to do. So yeah, like I try and jump on your guys' streams when I can, and then other people's streams when I can. But like, I'm only one person, and I can only have so many tabs open on my computer.
I understand. Same thing. It's like, here, I'm trying to do this thing and do at least a stream with on my channel, stream on Roman's channel, but then I'm working full time, and I'm like, I don't have time to watch other people's streams. Like,
so yeah, that's just what this week looks like. So yeah, just keep an eye out. Like I'm pretty active on Twitter, or if you are familiar with Discord, I have a Discord server. That is probably the best way to get a hold of me. Or DMs and stuff like that. But yeah, that's this week, and let's hope that I don't forget something in between here and then.
Awesome. Well, like I said, I usually try to go in ahead of time and link at least people's Twitter and YouTube, and then whatever else I can find. I think I probably put your Twitch link in there as well. So if you guys are still watching, all that stuff should be linked in the description of this video. Go support all these wonderful panel members we've had on tonight. And thank you guys so much for being here, having a great conversation. I know every time we say we're going to keep it to an hour, it's always really hard because we're having a good time and the conversation's rolling. But yeah. Again, thank you guys, and hopefully we'll do this again sometime soon. Yep. But for now, John, the creative blue collar guy, signing off with my co-host Roman and guest Steven and the Untamed Mando. You guys all have a great rest of your night and great week.
Night, chat.
Bye, chat.
Be excellent to each other.